Hello, this is Dave Weigel of the Washington Independent, and I'm here talking with...
So we're talking with Ben Smith of POLITICO.
And I'm happy to talk to you today because you have a piece this morning that went up, really early this morning, I think, about Afghanistan, which I think is going to dominate politics this week. Either healthcare or this are going to be duking it out for the headlines, unless somebody else crashes the White House.
Big week. Yeah, I mean, I guess my story today, I think, is not, it's kind of coming from a slightly different direction, but human rights advocates, and particularly women's rights advocates, have been sort of wondering why the White House has stopped talking about, to the extent that it was talking about at all, the plight of Afghans in this whole thing, and particularly of Afghan women. At a time when the traditional way to drum up support for sending more troops to a theater, including in like the most realpolitik war ever, George H.W. Bush was talking about, Iraqi atrocities in Kuwait in a war that, was very clearly about oil and control of oil supplies. This White House is has been very reluctant to talk about, girls getting acid thrown in their face on the way to school. I think over the summer, this is what Bruce Riedel, who did the first policy review, said to me, is that over the summer they were thinking about pulling out, and if you're thinking about pulling out, you don't want to talk about how horrible it's going to be when you do pull out and what a bloodbath it's going to be. And I think right now, they're, deliberating over the extent to which they're going to talk about human rights, the extent to which that's sort of in the shadow of George W. Bush, and they can't talk about human rights because it's so thoroughly associated with W. I mean, I think that's, that's a question hanging over their foreign policy more broadly, is that human rights is something that is very easy to sell, that people understand, and realism is a harder sell, and that's, I think, what they're doing right now.
But they really did think about pulling out. That was the source of this. I mean, I got that from the piece. I'm still surprised because this is not a new idea for Obama or any Democratic candidate since 2001 to try and run as a war candidate, get your credentials up as a